That money can be used for education, pay for infrastructure, whatever. Meanwhile, these guys are taking all the money and also getting tax breaks, you know?
And sending it over the head office.
That's right.
Well, hold on. Yesterday, my 6-year-old daughter came to me and she asked me, why do people hate me in Canada? My 6-year-old daughter was born in Pennsylvania. My wife and I are from Northern Ontario. And I guess from watching the news, from listening to people that talk, she has a sense that Canadians hate Americans. And maybe that's why they're in tourism. I mean, I myself, I can understand critique of American policies, but I have heard no less than 3 anti-American since being here. And I find it insulting. What if I said, well, maybe it's all the Jewish oil companies, or maybe it's all the French oil companies? I mean, people would be up in arms. Or maybe it's those Muslims in Saudi Arabia. But it's okay to make these types of comments against the Americans.
The point is that the money's going out of the country. It doesn't matter.
Well, then say it that way. Don't make anti-American comments.
It's going out of the country.
Okay? Is it acceptable? I mean, we're wondering why American tourists aren't coming up here. It seems to be acceptable to make these, just like your comments about evangelical Protestants. I'm not an evangelical Protestant, and Tony said he didn't want to get into it. Well, look at this. There's a comment, stereotyping real women. Okay, is this acceptable? It's on NDP head.
Yeah,
you know, because they're women of faith. Tony, is this acceptable in the NDP?
Yeah, it is. The critique is real women came in and made a critique of the child care program that the Liberals and the Conservatives, the Liberals and the New Democrat wanted to bring forward, and so, you know, that's our view on it.
But you're saying it's acceptable to stereotype them with things like Levin and with are you saying that their views on child care are any less valid than that of any other Canadian voter?
No, we're not, but we're just saying we disagree with them.
Yeah, that's how we think. When
I use the term Levin, which is obviously a sexist term.
Your perspective.
No, I mean, is it a sexist term, yes or no?
No. No.
Okay, what if we were to use another identifiable group? Like Tories and Jews have a love-in. Okay? Why is it always acceptable to pick on Americans or evangelical Protestants?
Well, you want to speak this.
Good point. Sharon, did you have anything you wanted to contribute to?
Well,
you came in after we had started, but I said to everybody that I'm an extension of an exercise that's going on across the country right now. There's a standing committee on finance that's traveling from one end of the country to the other, hearing from people on what should or shouldn't be in the budget that will come down in March of next year. It's an all-party committee of Parliament. They also charged the rest of us who are not on that committee, if we wanted to go back to our communities and have forums, you know, set up opportunities like this for people to come forward and talk to us about what they feel should be or should not be, or, you know, I guess a response to maybe what, you know, was brought down last week, which was sort of a mini statement on the financial situation in the country, where it was indicated there would be a $13+ billion surplus, and then along with that there was a pretty sizable cut in various programs, and just wanted to hear from people about that.
Well, my concern really, and I just caught sight of your flyer when I put my admit into Web Canada yesterday that you were here, so I wasn't really sure what you were doing, but it's small business. My daughter just opened up a business 2 years ago. She's just trying to get on her feet. Okay. She's a hairdresser, and she rents out chairs. Now, Revenue Canada has come to her and told her that she has to pay the employment insurance on those people. But she doesn't pay them a wage.
Because she's contract chair.
She rents the space out to them. They buy their own supplies. They make their own.
So they're independent business.
They're self-employed.
Okay, all right. So what did Revenue Canada state?
They stated that she owes EI for every one of those people that she rents a chair to.
Yeah, that's a discussion that's happening out there in a number of sectors. One of them is in the taxi business, where taxi companies claim that each of their drivers are individual business people, and they have a contract with them to drive their taxis, and so, you know, there's a financial exchange that happens. Some of the taxi drivers are now claiming that they're really not small business people, that they're actually employees, and so then enters into, you know, the whole question of then who's responsible for WSIB, EI, and there's a number of other government-imposed considerations that need to be looked at. And I believe that that's now gone before the courts. Is that right, Ted?
No, it's been practiced now for several years that taxi drivers are employees, and they have to, the employer, the taxi owner, is, I guess, de facto employer. He controls the dispatching and the hours that they work and the availability of their vehicles and so on. He holds the license on all the cars. He has control of their employment, and it's been part of laws and regulations for many years now.
But Tony, you haven't answered my question. I mean, this has just been a divergence. As a stay-at-home father who would benefit from this family taxation, which your party is taking issue with, and you say it's a Tory thing or it's this right-wing evangelical thing, or that's what's implied. Well, no, the Green Party has endorsed it. Yeah. What's wrong with family taxation?
Well,
why is it being stereotyped?
Well, if that's what you want to talk about, and I don't see it as being stereotyped, you know, that's your perspective on it, as I said before, but we in...
Well, I can show you right in the Green Party platform where they've embraced it.
Yeah, well, that's fine, and if you looked at our platform in the last federal election, we suggested an increase in the child tax benefit, which would go to every family, as well as an investment in child care.
Okay, but I'm asking what's wrong with family tax rate? Okay, that's what's being taken issue with here.
Yeah, okay, well, I'd have to look into that further.
Okay.
Because I don't pretend to be our finance critic or, you know, have knowledge of all of the, you know, the details, but if that's a concern that you're bringing to the table, we'll put it down and...
Well, I'm concerned about two things. One, I'm concerned, I know it works, I saw it work in the States, okay, where my wife and I could alternate going to work and staying home, and we would only be taxed at one rate. But secondly, I'm concerned that the way it's portrayed, the way it's stereotyped, and the way that proponents are being stereotyped by your party.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And like I said, it's not just conservatives, it's Greens, and even a certain core of the Liberals that are calling for this.
Okay. Now, to get back to the issue of a small business having to pay EI and that whole... I don't know how to... I think, you know, and I hope you don't see this as me trying to duck the issue, but well, no, I guess maybe it isn't either. I was going to say that whole area of labor relations, you know, and the relationship between you know, people who would come in and rent a chair and the person who actually owns the chair is something that would probably need to be sorted out at that provincial level, although EI is a federal program, you know, and who pays that. So,
yeah, because I just thought it very
it's an interesting
disturbing that Revenue Canada could issue
an order,
in my eyes, fraudulent T4s to base what she owes.
Yeah. Well, we can check into that for you and see what the deal is on that. It might be something that you know would like to take to my office and have a chat with one of the staff there, and we'll look into it in more detail and then find out what the situation is, and if she is being dealt with unfairly.
Well, it's just, I mean, I'm sure there's other hairdressers in town that do this, and it's just one more thing that's making it hard for these guys to keep on their feet.
Has the provincial government come in on it at any point saying